2020 is almost over. It's been a super long year. It's been a weird year just in life in general and for college football. But could it get weirder as we head towards the playoffs? Four teams, two remain, one champion, but there's a lot of teams in contention. Could this break the college football playoff committee this year? I'll explain in a second. Let's get into it. Christian Ballard here, Ballard Sports Media, looking at some of the teams in playoff contention. Now, let me explain real quick. What do I mean by break the playoff committee? We're looking at current playoff eligible teams and how this season, 2020, could lead to playoff expansion. Now, I don't want to sit here necessarily and be like, oh, well, look at what's happening this year. Imagine next year, whatever. This is a weird season. But you have to take into account, I haven't seen anything like this. And I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Mark Rogers, the voice of college football, for taking my call on his call-in show last night. It is Tuesday the 8th of December. I called up Monday night. And we were talking, and, I was talking to him about this video that I'm making and how there's so many playoff teams right now, or playoff, contending teams, is what I meant to say. I do apologize. There's quite a few teams, right? More than you would think. So let's look real quick. We'll get to those teams in a second. But who's in? Well, who do they normally put in, right? Well, okay. We'll look at, and I'll go ahead and list these teams. I got 12 teams on this list that have they're either undefeated or they got one loss. I'll just go ahead and name these teams that I consider them still alive. Number one, no brainer, Alabama, right? There's Alabama. There's Notre Dame, Ohio State from the Big Ten, Clemson. You got Florida, A&M, Indiana, Coastal Carolina. I'll get to it in a second. Northwestern, Miami, USC, and Colorado. Those are 12 teams I have listed. Now again, I'll get to these teams, okay? How are they still alive? Let's start with this list. Let's start with Alabama, my mighty Crimson Tide. You gotta admit it, whether you want to or not, because I know everyone's tired of Alabama. They've looked incredible this year. Mac Jones is just getting better. Heisman-worthy candidate. Weapons behind him with Najee and Devontae Smith. John Mechie. I could go down the list. Look at the O-line. Blocking really well. The defense and everything, right? Currently, Alabama is 9-0. They got 2 games left. At Arkansas this week on December the 12th, this Saturday. And then a week later, they will face Florida. It's already set. I think the game is actually going to be in primetime for the first time in a while, but it will be the SEC Championship game December 19th with the Florida Gators. Okay, Alabama's still alive, right? Next, Notre Dame. They're currently 10-0. They only got 1 game left against Clemson in the ACC title game. They did have a game that was canceled with Wake Forest, pandemic reasons, Unless that's rescheduled, they pretty much just have the ACC title with Clemson left. Next team on the list is Ohio State. They're 5-0, undefeated. Their next game, which was just canceled today, filming this on December 8th. We'll see how long it takes to upload. As of today, on December 8th, Michigan, the game, the rivalry, has been canceled. So, they were supposed to play them on the 12th. It's now canceled. I guess their next game would most likely be the Big Ten Championship. You got number 4 Clemson. They are 9-1. And their one loss, they're probably the best one-loss team right now. Or are they? We'll get to that in a minute. They got the one loss to Notre Dame, 47-40 in overtime, without Trevor Lawrence in that game because of COVID reasons, which they are taking into an account. They're counting like players opting out or having to sit out or whatever because of COVID. They're basically counting it like it's injury is what they're doing. It's just part of the protocol. Number 5, you got Florida. They're 8-1 right now. Their only losses to A&M. Florida's locked up the SEC East by beating Georgia and just continuing to win. And just, can we talk about Kyle Trask? I think we've heard enough about him, but he's great. And this offense is legit. The defense, okay, whatever. But yeah, Florida's 8-1. They only got one loss to A&M, whose one loss is to Alabama. I'll get to them in a minute. And Florida has a chance to win the SEC. I think they'll only have still that one loss. I don't see them losing to who else they have left. Let me double check real quick. Okay, so they have coming up this Saturday, Florida has LSU. So that game has been rescheduled. So LSU gets both Bama and Florida back on the schedule. Both those games got canceled because of COVID and everything. Okay, LSU gets both of them back. We're not talking about LSU. We're looking at Florida right now. Let's stay on track with the Gators here. They got LSU at home in the Swamp. And if you go back preseason, I picked them to win this game. LSU, just call it what it is, the worst defending champs, probably ever. Not trying to be critical or anything, but they just have had such a rough year this year. Injuries and opt-outs and just rebuilding after losing so much from that awesome, incredible team last year. But yeah, Florida, I think they're going to beat LSU. I think they'll go in 9-1 into the SEC title game. So, but yeah, they're 8-1. They lost to A&M. They pretty much clinched the East to meet Alabama, and it's set. Bama and Florida. I've been waiting on this for the past few years. I love this matchup. It's been great when these teams meet in the SEC championship. And we get this one for the first time since 2016? It's been a few years. But this one will be a little bit different. I'll definitely do a preview video the week of that game. Next team on the list, because Florida, 8-1, they have a chance. They're still alive. Number 6 on this list, Texas A&M. Oh yeah, let's not forget about, I forgot about them Aggies. I know I just mentioned them, but let's not forget about them, man. Why aren't we talking about these Aggies of A&M right now? They are, let's see. They got one loss. One loss. On the road to, you guessed it, Alabama. Right? They are 7-1 right now. And their only loss is to Alabama. They beat Florida at home, who has a Heisman-worthy quarterback in Kyle Trask. And Florida, again, as we mentioned, SEC championship hopes and possibility of, going to a playoff, going to the playoffs. The defense is incredible. Mond is playing great. Just slowly getting better every week. It's like it's creeping up to getting to the level of just being so elite. It's slowly climbing that ladder. It's getting great with Kellen Mond. It's consistent. They're playing good football. Why aren't we talking about the Aggies all that much? I don't know. Someone let me know that. Texas A&M is on this list. They still got a chance. They only got one loss to Alabama. They beat Florida at home. Now, I know it's at home or whatever, but I mean, come on. A win over Florida is something any team might take right now. Florida's looking great. A&M's on the list. Now we get to some Big Ten talk here. Ooh, Indiana 6-1. We mentioned with Ohio State a little bit. One close loss to Ohio State, Indiana. The offense has been pretty darn good. Defense is looking pretty good. And you look back at that Ohio State game, they could have easily won that game, man. Could have been in their favor. If only the Indiana Hoosiers were a little bit better about clock management, and if they don't lose that fumble on that lateral play in that game, they have a chance to score and just find a way to win the game. Right? They turn the ball over and give Ohio State a victory. Outside of that, they played Ohio State better than anybody has played them this year. Now, some teams in the Big Ten are kind of down right now, but, I mean, come on. Indiana is still alive. So far, what do we have? Bama, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Clemson, Florida, A&M, and Indiana. Number 8 on this list. I put them here for a reason, but a lot of crazy crap would have to go down for this. Coastal Carolina, people. No comment on them. A lot of chaos is needed. But I put them on here because in a certain scenario where all these other teams just lose and lose and lose these next couple weeks, maybe a group of 5 team like them gets in. I kind of hope that doesn't happen. It won't happen. I only put them on the list because they're playing good football. And look, I believe if you're ranked in the playoff rankings, you have a chance to improve each week and just keep slowly. I don't care how slow it is. I don't care who you are. If you just start slowly moving up the ladder, moving up the rankings, maybe you have a chance. I'll shut up about Coastal Carolina. I don't think it's happening, but they're undefeated, so I just put them on the list. Number 9, let's forget about them. Or let's not forget about them, I should say. I think we have a little bit. Another one-loss Big Ten team in Northwestern on top in the Big Ten West could potentially make it to the Big Ten title. They're 5-1, only a road loss to the Spartans of Michigan State, who's 2-4. That's not a good look, but it was a close game. 29-20. They are currently, as of the new poll, 14th. 5-1. And okay, so they have beaten. They started out with a win over Maryland, 43-3. Won a close game against Iowa on the road, 21-20. Nebraska, 21-13. No, outside of that Maryland game, the offense hasn't been that impressive. Defensively looks pretty good, though. I'll give you that. All the close game. I mean, they can play a close game and win a close game. That looks like it. They come off a loss, though. They got Illinois this week at home. If they lose that, they're out and they're truly done. But they are right there. They are on top in the Big Ten West, and they could get in. And if they just got to work hard between now and that championship, man, and you got to take care of Ohio State. I don't personally think it could happen, but, at the same time, in this weird year that we're all going through and with football and just, I think anything's possible with opt-outs and everything. So you got to at least consider them a little bit. But yeah, they are another one-loss Big Ten team outside of Indiana. They're on top of the Big Ten West, 5-1. Only a road loss to Michigan State. But they could make and compete in the Big Ten title. I really think so. Now we go to the ACC. We're almost done with this list, but Miami. I'm not saying we're forgetting about them, but I feel like maybe they're not getting enough credit. They're 8-1, and their only loss is to Clemson. Now, some close games, quite a few of them, but it's very impressive, just how they are playing close games week in and week out, and they find a way to win every single week. Ever since that Clemson game, I feel like they've gotten a little bit better. They are third in the ACC right now. I guess the ACC this year, for some reason, just doesn't have divisions. I don't know what that's about, but they are third in the ACC behind Notre Dame and Clemson, respectively in that order. Notre Dame, Clemson, and then Miami, the top three teams in that order in the ACC. They got 2 games left, both home games against North Carolina and Georgia Tech. I think they could win both of them. I really do. I think they are a little bit better than North Carolina. I think they're better than Georgia Tech. And if not, win both of them, at least beat Georgia Tech. Maybe North Carolina pulls off upset. But at the same time, man, remember in the offseason and everything, we were talking about Sam Howell and Mac Brown and North Carolina and how they were going to continue to improve and be that team right there in the ACC with Clemson. Then Notre Dame comes in and it's like, okay, Notre Dame's in there now joining a conference, so I don't know. But North Carolina's not what we expected this year. It's kind of disappointing and sad. North Carolina, you kind of let some people down this year, man. But Miami's right there. I think it's locked up with Notre Dame and Clemson, but if Miami wins their next 2 games and ends up going, I guess it would be 10-1 with only a loss to Clemson, that's pretty impressive for the Hurricanes to turn it around this year and everything. They started out, okay, you beat UAB. I remember doing a stream for that game back when the season kicked off for the ACC and everything. But yeah, I mean, Miami's right there. So they got 2 games left. North Carolina and Georgia Tech. I think they win both those games, and they could be in the mix. 2 teams left, both Pac-12. Let's not forget about the Pac-12 here. Hold on a second. USC, 3-0 in the Pac-12. Good chance to win the Pac-12 South. But Colorado, dang it, I spoiled it for you people. There it is. The last team's Colorado in the Pac-12 South as well. But look at USC. They're 3-0. They're in the Pac-12. They're undefeated. Good chance to win the Pac-12 South and potentially the conference. But an undefeated Colorado at 3-0 stands in their way of doing that. Of at least winning the division. And then you look at Colorado, and it's vice versa. It's the same thing. USC stands in their way, I think. In USC, I do apologize, 4-0 now. Because it's Tuesday and they've updated it. Now, here's the problem with the Pac-12 is the lack of games. Well, they have like 7 games or 5 or 6 games, right? It's the lack of games, I think. That's the only problem with the Pac-12 is lack of games, right? Like, SEC has like 10 games. There's 11 games for the ACC. The Big Ten was supposed to be 10 games, then they canceled and postponed the season. Now it's 8 or whatever. But only like 4 or 5 for the Pac-12. That's the only thing with them, right? And of course, the final team on the list is Colorado. The same thing with USC. They're 3-0. But you got USC in the way of making it to that Pac-12 title. Let's see. And being in the South. Both in the same division, by the way. So, I don't know how they're going to do that. I really don't know. Who did Colorado? It's basically a coin flip because the problem is they don't play each other. They don't play each other. And they're both in the South, so I mean, what do you do? What's the tiebreaker there? So I don't know, but that's 12 teams right there. And I just broke it down. I'm not going to break it down again. You guys heard all of it. Bama, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Clemson, Florida, A&M, Indiana, Coastal Carolina. I just had to. Northwestern, Miami, USC, and Colorado. 12 teams that are still alive, right? And again, you're going to get the SEC champion, either Bama or Florida. I think with that, like if Florida wins, and it's close, it has to be close. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, Alabama. If you lose by 2 touchdowns or whatever, if it's less than a touchdown, or more than a touchdown, I should say, with Florida, and you lose more than a touchdown, probably won't make it in. Maybe you do. Maybe they view you as that good, and maybe they are that good. I think they are. But, so you're going to get the SEC champ. You're going to get the ACC champion, which is set up now, Notre Dame and Clemson. Clemson loses, they're done. Notre Dame loses, and it's close, maybe they get in. Right? I think ultimately, if you have this scenario, Bama wins the SEC, they're in. Clemson wins the ACC, and it's close, they're in. Notre Dame probably gets in. Maybe not. Ohio State or Indiana, you're getting the Big Ten in. So you're going to get the SEC champion, the ACC champion, the Big Ten, Pac-12, maybe, I don't know. Y'all help me out with this in the comments section, man. I can't keep going on forever with this, but it's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of teams, man. But this might be the year. This might break the committee. They might say, I can't believe this chaos. All the controversy. I get there's tiebreakers and stuff, but it's so much and it's hard to figure out. Maybe we need to try expansion. I'm not here to say whether I'm for or against it. Honestly, it'd be kind of cool. Maybe it's a little interesting. I also love how it is right now. I think it's perfect with the 4 teams and everything. It's great. But, oh man, look at these teams. Coastal Carolina, Northwestern, Miami, USC, Colorado, Clemson, Florida. I'm just naming these off, just looking at the list or whatever. Bama, Florida, Ohio State. I mean, you go down the list. You heard all the teams. A few of the main teams to keep an eye on. A lot could happen over the conference championship weekend between now and December 20th. A lot could happen over that weekend, and maybe some stuff happens even after that. Maybe not after championship weekend. What am I talking about? A lot could happen between now and December 20th, which is Selection Sunday. Yep, it was 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks, whatever. So, yeah, but anyway, appreciate you guys for watching this. I know the video is kind of long, but I had this on my mind, and I want to give a special shout out to Mark Rogers for letting me call up on his call-in show and giving me some help and some insight on this, because he is the voice of college football. He does such a great job. He's very knowledgeable and everything. So shout out to him. I'm not going to take all the credit because, I kind of talked to him a little bit on his call-in show about the scenarios and everything. And, I mean, I don't know who's getting in. I mean, I know, but I don't know. Like, Florida could beat Bama. It's possible. I think in this year, you got to consider anything's possible. With opt-outs, with COVID and everything, it's crazy. I think the ACC champ gets in, the Big Ten gets in, the SEC gets in, and then you're stuck looking at the Pac-12, an undefeated Coastal Carolina, or a one-loss BYU, or maybe a runner-up like A&M. I don't know. I feel like A&M will probably get in over BYU or Coastal Carolina. They got a better resume. Just call it what it is. It's impressive, BYU. It's impressive, Coastal Carolina. But then you also look at Indiana. Right? I think you're stuck with teams like A&M, Indiana, Miami. Uh, Top three teams right there. Northwestern, throw them in. Undefeated USC or undefeated Colorado, however that plays out with the Pac-12 or whatever. So, but anyway, so I just figured I'd make this video, man. I mean, it was going through my head, and I'm like, all the chaos, all the teams undefeated or only one loss. It's crazy. So I want to get you guys get your thoughts in the comments below. Again, sorry this video is so long, but man, I break it down for you guys. That's what I do. I love just talking sports. I do it, for my career, but I also do it for the people. You guys want to hear stuff like this. I know you do. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, comment, and let me know what your thoughts are. What will it take to expand the playoffs? And is this that kind of year that's going to break the committee with all of the eligible teams this year? So, anyway, don't forget tomorrow night. I'm at least filming this on Tuesday. Not sure how long it'll take to upload, but tomorrow night, Wednesday, December 9th, my birthday, 1 year anniversary on YouTube. It's been a heck of a year, and you guys have been a big part of it. I love each and every one of you. We're doing a big stream on the channel at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night. You don't want to miss it. Be here or miss out. I don't know, but it mean a lot if you guys showed up. And yeah, hit that like, comment, and subscribe. All that good stuff. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching. And I will see you guys next time. Until then, Ballard Sports Media, checking out. Have a good day and happy holidays. Love you guys, and roll tide.